Hi, this is a Know Your Rights presentation on Senate Bill 4 that goes into effect in Texas on March 5th, 2024. For some background, we are Southwest Workers Union. We're also known as Centro Por La Justicia. We are located in San Antonio, Texas, and have been an organization for 35 years. Our work focuses on environmental justice, healthy communities, and civic engagement. We are member-led and host different workshops and training to empower our members to get involved. You can follow us on socials at Sue Justice or check out our website at swoonian.org. While we are presenting this information, we did not compile this slide deck. This was created by a coalition of organizers, activists, and attorneys in Texas to be publicly available for use as a resource for conducting Know Your Rights presentation on Texas SB4. We're thankful for all the community leaders, activists, and organizers who created this slide deck. As an important disclaimer, the slide deck is intended to provide general information on SB4 and is not intended to provide legal advice. Please consult with an attorney if you have any specific questions about how these legal matters may apply to an individual or an organization. SB4 Mandatory Minimum Overview. There is a 10-year mandatory prison sentence for anyone convicted of smuggling. 15 years mandatory sentence if smuggling offense conviction in area where a disaster is declared. Reduced to 5 years for someone who cooperates with law enforcement or smuggles certain extended family members, defined as parent, children, siblings, grandparents, grandchildren. 5 years mandatory minimum for operation of a stash house, not limited to the border region. Where is a disaster declared? As of September 2023, 58 counties have signed on to Governor Greg Abbott's disaster declaration. What is smuggling of persons? Using any type of vehicle to transport anyone with an intent to conceal them or flee from law enforcement. Note that the statute does not require any actual concealment and only requires an intent to conceal, and that law enforcement has interpreted intent to conceal when a passenger is undocumented. Encouraging or inducing a person to enter or remain in the country in violation of federal law by concealing, harboring, or shielding that person from detention. Assisting or guiding 2 or more individuals to enter or remain on agricultural land without the effective consent of the owner. What is a stash house? Using, permitting, renting, or leasing any real estate, building, room, tent, vehicle, boat, or other property owned by the person or under the person's control to commit an offense or to facilitate the commission of an offense under Texas Penal Code 20.05, smuggling of persons, or 20.06, continuous smuggling of persons. Also, Texas Penal Code 20A.02, trafficking of persons, or 20A.03, continuous trafficking of persons, or Texas Penal Code 43.04, aggravated promotion of prostitution, or 43.05, compelling prostitution. This is SB4 Illegal Entry Overview. Creates 2 new crimes that can only be committed by non-U.S. citizens or nationals. Illegal entry from foreign nation. Peace officer may arrest or detain someone for illegal entry if there is probable cause to believe they are a non-citizen that entered Texas from a foreign nation at any location other than a port of entry. Defense to prosecution if granted prior to arrest. Lawful presence, asylum, DACA. If not a defense, and prosecution will not stop if application was pending or could be initiated. Illegal reentry by certain individuals. Peace officer may arrest or detain someone for illegal reentry if there is probable cause to believe that they are a non-citizen or attempting to enter, or are found at any time in Texas after they were detained admission, deported or removed, or departed Texas while having an outstanding order of deportation. There is no defense allowed. This means that any person that was denied admission, deported, or removed by federal or state government, or was then found entering or found anywhere in Texas will be prosecuted and removed, even if they have been granted some sort of lawful status. This creates a new crime for refusal to comply with order to return, up to a 20-year sentence. Peace officer may not arrest or detain a person at public or private primary or secondary school, churches or other established places of worship, healthcare facilities, but only if they are there to receive treatment, a safe, ready facility, only if they are there to receive treatment, not limited to the border region. 3 ways to be ordered to return to a foreign nation. First way. Pre-adjudication by a magistrate judge can order the person to release and order to return to the foreign nation where the person entered if the person agrees to the order, has not previously been convicted of illegal entry or illegal re-entry, and if the person is not charged with another offense, punishable as a Class A misdemeanor or higher. It is crucial that you request to consult with a lawyer during your registration for illegal entry or illegal re-entry if you do not want to be removed back to the foreign nation where you entered. Second way, a judge may at any time, in lieu of continuing the prosecution, order the person to return to the foreign nation where the person entered if the person agrees to the order, has not been previously convicted of illegal entry or illegal re-entry, and if the person is not charged with another offense punishable as a Class A misdemeanor or higher. Third way, after conviction of illegal entry or illegal re-entry, a judge is required to order the person to return to the foreign nation where the person entered. Who is a peace officer in Texas? Texas Code of Criminal Procedure, Section 2.12 defines who is a peace officer. Some examples are police officers, sheriffs, Parks and Wildlife Commission law enforcement officers, municipal park and recreation patrolmen and security officers, fire marshal, insurance commission investigators. How to identify police officers? If they have a badge, be careful and remember what we practiced. Overview of rights regardless of status. You are allowed to invoke your Fourth Amendment right. You do not have to consent to an unlawful search of your property, including your vehicle. The Fourth Amendment protects us from law enforcement searches without a judicial search warrant. Sixth Amendment. You have a right to an attorney for criminal matters, but not immigration matters. Fifth Amendment. You have a right to remain silent and not answer any questions from a peace officer relating to your immigration status or how you entered the state of Texas. If you did enter Texas from a foreign country at a place other than a port of entry, do not answer questions relating to how you entered and ask for a lawyer. Fifth Amendment continued. The only questions you need to answer under the Texas failure to identify law are if you are arrested, name, residence, address, and date of birth. If you are not under arrest, no need to provide any information. If you are not driving, do not show your ID or papers. Role as a passenger in a vehicle. As a passenger, you do not need to show your identification to a Texas police officer. If you are a U.S. citizen and are being questioned about your status, you may want to show proof of U.S. citizenship. If you are not a U.S. citizen, showing your foreign passport may subject you to an arrest for illegal entry if the passport does not show proof you entered Texas from a port of entry in the form of an I-94. Because it is not required, the risk of providing foreign identification may outweigh any benefit and may subject you to arrest. What do I say when? What do I say when a peace officer asks you about immigration status? You can respond, I do not wish to speak with you. Answer your questions or sign any documents based on my Fifth Amendment rights under the United States Constitution. What do I say if a peace officer asks you to sign documents or answer additional questions? You can respond, I would like to speak with my attorney before answering any more questions or signing anything. If in ICE or CBP custody, do not resist and follow the officer's commands, even if you think the commands are not fair. Truthfully answer an officer's question about your name, the address where you live, and your birth date. Say you wish to remain silent regarding all other questions and ask for a lawyer. If you can't afford a lawyer, the government must provide one. Don't say anything, sign anything, or make any decisions without a lawyer. You have the right to make a local phone call. The police cannot listen if you call a lawyer. Do not discuss your immigration status with anyone but your lawyer. An immigration officer may visit you in jail. Do not answer questions or sign anything before talking to a lawyer. Read all papers fully. If you don't understand or cannot read the papers, you say you need an interpreter. You have the right to hire a lawyer. If you don't have a lawyer, ask for a list of free or low-cost legal services. You have the right to contract to contact your consulate or have an officer inform the consulate of your arrest. However, if seeking asylum, this may not be advisable. Tell the immigration officer you wish to remain silent. Do not discuss your immigration status with anyone but your lawyer. Do not sign anything without talking to your lawyer. If you sign, you may be giving up your opportunity to stay in the U.S. Know your immigration number, your A number, and give it to your family. It will help them locate you. These next slides are about the emergency packet that we offered during our live presentation. I'm going to give you the QR codes now. You can pause your screen and scan the QR codes or click on the links, and they should send you to more information. This is for family preparedness resources in English and in Espanol. These are additional family preparedness in English and Espanol. Here are other assets. Family preparedness continued. Be sure to review your plan with your family and children. Make sure everyone knows where important family documents are located. Establish an emergency caretaker who can care for your children and make decisions for them in case you cannot. If you do not have legal status, meet with an immigration attorney to find out if you are eligible to apply. If you have a Texas driver's license, Texas ID, or enhanced library card, make sure to carry it with you at all times. Domestic violence sexual assault programs. Emergency shelters for survivors of domestic violence and programs that provide support to survivors of domestic violence and sexual assault are required by federal law to serve all survivors, regardless of their immigration status. A survivor should not need to disclose their immigration status in order to enter a shelter or receive services, though some types of services and benefits may only be available to people with certain immigration status. If you were denied access to a shelter at a domestic violence program due to your immigration status, the domestic violence hotline may be able to provide you with information at 1-800-799-7233. This concludes our presentation. Thank you for following along. For more information, check out our website at scunium.org.